Hey guys, it's Quickie Baby and I'm doing something a little different today. I'm commentating on a video by one of the members of QSF, which is the community clan that we run. I'd like to give a big shout out to Sadie3296. They're playing in their T110E5. You can see that they're using some premium consumables there, cola. Obviously this is a pimp tank for them and they want to play it like they mean it. That'll give them plus 10% to their crew skills for the rest of the battle, which will just, all in all, make the tank just a little bit better. So, we see that we're playing on Siegfried line. And Sadie has decided to take the middle of the map. I'm just going to make the map a little bigger for you, so you can see. There we go. Right in the middle of the town. Now this is a really nice matchup for a T110E5. Only two tier 10 tanks on the enemy team. And we can see there's quite a few tier 9s and tier 8s and there's 3 artillery. So I guess what Sadie is wanting to do right now is look after the center of the map. Here we can see he's got a shot on the ST1 which missed. That was surprising. It looked like it should have been a hit. The second one goes really low and hits the track on the opposite side. Third one is a great success. We can see though just how amazing the rate of fire is on the T110E5 with 400 alpha. Able to put a second shot in there, doing a combined total of 778 with 2 shots to that ST1. So Sadie fires a blind shot. Now we can see him doing some rather tasty work against this Carnarvon. Right through the turret. That Carnarvon's being very cheeky trying to engage a tier 10 tank. I don't know what that Carnarvon is trying to do right now. If I was him, I would really not be trying to engage a T110. So we see that he tried to penetrate the Carnarvon's front plate at a rather interesting angle. It was worth a punt. Got to be in it to win it. And the T110 does hold a lot of ammo. So you don't need to be so worried about holding the shots. Okay, so Sadie sees that there's an IS-7 that's taking quite a lot of heat from these 3 tanks here. He sees it as an opportunity to go and chew up this Carnarvon. Gets the side of it, and really this Carnarvon needs to hit the weak points of the T110, which I will show you right now. The weak points will be here and here. You must shoot here in a Carnarvon to have any chance of engaging this tank. Or you can hit the hatch, which he tried to do there. But with 226mm of penetration, the hatch is very troll, as you guys can see. Really, you need about 250 plus to stand a really good chance of going into the hatch. So having dealt with that Carnarvon, now we see Sadie trying to work on this IS-3. Oh no you don't. With the wonderful high penetration on the T110E5, you don't even really need to aim at the front of tanks such as the IS-3, it's going to go in. So this is a part where I'm not 100% sure if I would have played the same as Sadie here. We can see that there's an E100 and an IS-8 and an ST1 going to the south against a solitary ST1 with an ISU and some artillery backing him up. He decides he wants to flank this ISU 152. I personally would have probably gone to try and flank the IS-8 and the E100, but he's making the shots count. I think he hit the ISU 152 gun mantle there, so that's why I didn't pen. And wow, he just bounced that ISU 152 shell. That was quite fortunate. Otherwise that could have been a third of his health evaporated in one shot. So, that ST1 is now dead, but at least Sadie managed to dig out that ISU, and the T-54 died as well. So now he's secured the east flank, and he's coming back to try and dig out the west flank. Fortunately, this E100 is now in artillery range, and he puts a beautiful shot through the track of the E100 there. Now he's got to aim for that lower plate. And he does a nice jink there, managing to bounce the E100 shell. And this is just where it's not fun to play an E100. Where you've got a T110 chewing you up from the front and you can't pen him. So, the game's looking a little tighter now. Sadie's already managed to do 4,600 damage, which is a great result. So far, I'd be happy with this game even if it was to end right now. But that's not enough. That's not enough for Sadie. He wants more. Nice snapshot there on the ST1. Taking him out before taking a hit. So now you've got to be feeling fairly confident in your T110. You've wrecked 5 opponents. You've done nearly 5,000 damage. You've got enough ammo left. There's 3 artillery, 1 Batchat and an IS-8, and you've got all your health left. You've got to be feeling quite happy. Now this is where issues start to happen on the Siegfried line. If the enemy get into your base around the ridgeline like you've seen, and that was a very nice snapshot there as well, showing you the accuracy of the T110E5 even with snapshots. Once you let the enemy into the southwest, unless you can put direct pressure on the enemy artillery, it's very hard to dig them out. We noticed the Batchat was last spotted just outside the cap circle. Looks like the Batchat is going after the T-34, and I think Sadie probably realised that, so he's going to go and assist. Now he's got to be mindful, there's 3 artillery, and the T-110 does not take artillery shells very well. If we look at the tank from the top, anything that hits the rear of the tank here really just decimates it. Side is very poor as well. But he's spotted the Batchat. He's decided that he needs to take this Batchat out. And in my opinion, his thinking was the Batchat was going to kill the T-34, so he has to be over here to dig this guy out, otherwise he would have capped, and he needed to make a move because of the fact there was a Jagdtiger 88 and an IS-8 approaching the base as well. So I think even though he's exposed himself to some artillery fire, he seems to have got away with it very nicely. I can't believe the artillery didn't nail him at all. They were probably all aiming at the T-34. And there we can see that the superstructure of the Jagdtiger isn't safe from a regular AP shell. Now Sadie realizes this game is pretty close, and he's starting to load some heat, which is perfectly acceptable. He's already done 6,000 damage with his regular AP shells. He wants to have the heat to penetrate the superstructure of that Jagdtiger reliably. So, as I was saying, I was quite surprised that the artillery didn't manage to nail Sadie as he was making his run for the Batchat. That was very fortunate. Right now, the enemy should be just sitting there and letting the artillery come around west. And with heat rounds, Sadie can really hit anywhere on the enemy tanks and it's going to go in. What would be going through my mind right now if I was in this situation is I can't really allow them to camp here. There's 6 minutes left on the game and there's 3 enemy artillery. The enemy team should really just camp there and wait for the artillery to go out west. But oh my gosh, the T-28 has made a move. One of the slowest tanks has crossed the field and is putting pressure up on the Jagdtiger, putting a meaty shot in. So Sadie feels it's now time to do something. He's got to use this distraction. He can't end up being a 5-on-1, and he knows that the artillery are going to nail that. Nail the T-28 very hard. So he puts 1 shot into the Jagdtiger and he stops behind here in artillery fire. The Jagdtiger manages to penetrate a shell and so does the IS-8. We know that the artillery have relocated into the field. Sadie's still using this rock as a bit of cover, and he puts a key shot there into the IS-8. Unfortunately, that is the pain. That's the pain. He just took a penetrating shot from the GW Tiger. Let's take a quick look. See, it went in right on the weak points of the rear of the tank, and it decimated him for nearly 1,000 health with 1 shot. He got quite fortunate that the other low caliber artillery only managed to minorly splash him. So he's managed to deal with that situation very well. He's done 7,000 damage, but he lost a hell of a lot of health to that artillery barrage at the end there. So his T-28 friend miraculously didn't die. I have no idea how that T-28 is still on 700 health. The artillery, enemy artillery, have either been getting some horrific RNG, or maybe they were relocating and they didn't expect Sadie to make the move that he did, and it took them by surprise. So right now, he's thinking about how best he can defuse this situation. He's got 3 enemy artillery and he can't afford to take a direct hit from any of them. He can't even really afford to take a splash from any of them, if we're honest. So if I was him, I would be thinking about using the T-28 as a meat shield to try and just spot and fire support for the T-28 from behind some buildings. He's gone off on an adventure. He's left the T-28 by himself. I'm personally not sure if I would have done this. I don't think capping is a good solution. And I don't think going out into the open with such high tier artillery is a good idea, because their view range is very similar to yours. We can see that the T-28 got caught out in the open, and now the artillery nailed him. I can't be too critical though here, because Sadie is doing a mega carry. 7,000 damage, 7 kills, huge game. The T-28 could have easily gone into town and defended, or gone behind one of the buildings and defended, but he got caught out in the open and he paid the price for it. So Sadie looked like he was weighing up his options about, should I go cap, should I go cap? And I think he decided that he could get spotted and splashed down there very easily, and that it's a lot safer for him to be in the town area and defending base. He got quite fortunate that maybe the GW Panther and the Lorraine didn't rush in and cap, because they could cap in a combined 50 seconds. It would take him a lot longer than that to get back, and he would have to expose himself to a lot of artillery fire. But the enemy seemed to be playing this quite cautiously. Quite surprised. And there we go, he's got a spot on the GW Panther. And, oh god, that's a painful low roll. 350 health, and he's got 400 average. That's pretty brutal. That was about 7 out of times a kill shot. 7 times out of 10 a kill shot. So now he has to shoot the GW Panther again. Very frustrating. So he's doing the right thing here. He saw that the GW Panther went through the cap to try and spot, I guess. Doesn't look like that GW Panther is rocking a very good crew or very good view range, as he managed to spot the GW Panther there without getting spotted himself. And wow, that's a painful miss, but he hasn't been respotted, which is incredible. And just tracking damage. He's going to take a blind fire at him. And the GW must have repaired his tracks and moved. So, how much more RNG can Sadie take right now? So he spotted the GW, and he's finally been spotted. He takes the snapshot as quickly as he could, which was the right thing to do, and now he has to hope for luck. It is amazing that the enemy artillery miss, because they should have known exactly where the T110E5 was going to come from and been pre-aimed there. They should have decimated him. But he got quite lucky. And now he's decided to go and attack. Now this is man mode. He's going man mode here. He hasn't been spotted. Why he's advancing? He hasn't been spotted. He hasn't been spotted. He doesn't really need to be advancing at that GW Tiger. But rush of blood, adrenaline. Now he's been spotted. 330 health. Oh my god, he's left him on 2 health. No. No. No, 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 no. Oh man, I don't know what I would have done. He lost an 8 8k damage game and a pools medal because he rolled for 328 against a 330 health artillery. That was 8 out of 10 times a kill. Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal. So let's take a look at some post-game stats. He managed to get 1,333 experience for a loss. That's big in a tier 10 tank. That wouldn't be so good in like a tier 6 or even a tier 8 or even a tier 9, but when you reach that top end of the matchmaker and you're getting so much less experience for shooting tanks which are lower tier than you, 1,333 for a loss in a tier 10 is pretty big. Got a Radley Walters loss, Top Gun Sniper medal. This gentleman managed to do, as you can see here, 8,000 damage for his 9 kills, leaving that Lorraine on 2 health. Otherwise he would have got a pools medal. That's pretty brutal. He got over 2.5 times what the next person on his team did. That's just brutal. He fired quite a few heat shells, so he lost some credits, but even though he still made nearly 100k credits for the win. This game, guys, I just feel for him so much at that loss. It's just horrifically brutal to roll for 328 to not get a pools medal on a tier 10, which is a great achievement in its own right. A pools medal on a tier 10. It's a really good effort. I think Sadie played a pretty good game. I think at times maybe he could have tried to attack the more dangerous tanks and not leave them to mop up his friends. That's the only kind of recommendation I would give. Apart from that, he played a stunning game, and this is a very undeserving loss. So just a big shout out to QSF and to Sadie for being able to supply me with such awesome replays. You guys are epic. I live stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays on twitch.tv/QuickieBaby. So I'll hopefully see you guys there. As always guys, thanks a lot for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.